Hello, everyone. I'm super excited for today's show with MiMi Dabo, an incredible woman, very nonconformist, a cool mom, a high-ticket coach, and actually an attorney in her past life. She's got amazing stories to share with us today, and she'll also be telling us the secrets and the tips and tricks around setting up your own high-ticket offer, what you need to focus on, and how to build it. So, MiMi, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. I'm excited. Let's go.
First of all, I kind of mentioned your past life in law and then how you moved over. I'd love to hear more about that story. How did you get involved in coaching and what did you do beforehand? What do you do now?
Before coaching, I was an attorney and an accountant. And I knew probably since the age of 7 that I never wanted to work for anyone else except myself. I just didn't feel like I took instructions too well or followed authority too well. So I went to law school, went to grad school, took my CPA exam, all of that. And while I was doing that, I knew over those 15 years, this wasn't me. I wasn't called to be corporate with that suit, going to court. It wasn't fun for me. I wanted something that was going to be like, how do I have the time of my life? I wanted that life that was completely unrealistic, but on my terms, something that even I could be jealous of. So I figured I'll be a consultant, but I didn't know what that looked like. And somehow 15 years later during my law career, I found out that what I really wanted to do was be a coach, but I didn't know how to do that. Life happened, things happened that had me take a look at myself. My marriage fell apart, and that made me really look at who I want to be, how I want to be, what makes me happy, how I want to spend my 10 hours a day while I'm awake. What do I want to do? And so I quit my job and became a coach, a spiritual life coach. And that's how I moved from the county and the law to coaching. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, you moved from, and there's a trigger, an external trigger pushed you into thinking more about, is this what you wanted to do? And that's a great way to take stock and use that opportunity. So what brought you to coaching rather than any other profession?
Well, I always knew that I wanted to work with women. That was one. And I knew that I wanted to work in a field where I made my own hours, made my own money, made as much money as I wanted to, because I had gotten all these degrees, all these certifications, because I said, I want to be paid. Each degree should pay me $1 million a year. That was my plan in 1998 when I was in grad school. And so when I was looking to see what I wanted, kept getting drawn to the personal development world, the spiritual life, the introspection, feeling like, why am I here? What am I doing? What will make me happy? If I died tomorrow, who will be sad other than my daughter? If I died tomorrow, whose life would I have impacted and how would I have impacted that life? Coaching made sense to me. So I hired my first coach. And at the time I said, I want to hire a coach because I'm going through this life transition. I've quit my job. I need to know a little bit more about who I am because I've lost that part of myself. I'd forgotten and rejected and shamed and guilted all these parts of me that I knew wanted to thrive, but I didn't know how to be that whole person yet. So when I was working with my coach, I said, look, this was probably in 2016. I said, look, in 5 years, I want to be a coach, but I need 5 years to go through this life transition, get my life together, get my life perfect. And then once I'm perfect and my daughter is safe and happy and well, and I have all this money in the bank, then I'm going to be a coach. But for now, I'm just going to do my fashion design business and work with you. And she said, oh, so you want to be a coach in 2020, 2021? I was like, of course. Yeah, in 5 years. And she said, well, the program that I graduated from, it starts in a couple of weeks. So if you want to be a coach, it's a 1-year program. Consider going to that program. And I said, well, I can't even afford to pay you. When I quit my job, I quit with negative $241 in the bank. I had no penny to my name, but I had a high ticket coach, which is funny. So I was like, all I have is paying you right now, buying diapers for my daughter and putting food on the table. I have nothing. She said, well, that's the whole part of coaching. I believe you're resourceful. You can create it. You're a businesswoman. So instead of pushing back 5 years, you can start your coaching program in a couple of weeks. I signed up that day, right on her phone. She gave me the phone and I signed up right there. And that's how I became a coach, just like that. It wasn't in the plan before 5 years.
You dived into the deep end and immediately got stuck in with the program. From there, what was your first step? How did you get your first 3 clients? How did they find you?
My first 3 clients. Well, my first client actually was from a profile from my coach. She had done this profile about me and my transition to coaching and who I was and my passion business. And somebody saw that in Africa online and they called me like, I need you to be my coach. I remember I woke up in the morning, I saw the text on WhatsApp and I thought, wait, why? What? What? I got a client? So she became my first client, just like that. That's how I got my first client. And I'm a writer, so I love writing. I've been writing probably since before writing was a thing. I had my first blog in the early 90s before Blogger was a thing out there. So I knew SEO. And I knew that the way that I've always brought clients to my fashion business and to all the things I've done, whether it was my accounting or my law, was through writing. So I decided to start a blog on my website. And that's how I got my next 3 clients, actually. There were 5 blog posts. And my website designer looked at them and said, they're intellectually stimulating, but they're really boring. So you're going to have to jazz it up. You write just like an attorney. It's kind of dry. So he gave me some tips and I kind of jazzed it up to be more fun, more life, more experiential than point by point by point, how to do X. And so I wrote for 5 blogs and I just knew that my writing always makes me money and everything always works out when I write. One day I woke up to 3 applications and I thought, you gotta be kidding me. Because I had an application on the website. I just always have had that because I never thought I was going to work with someone if I didn't talk to them or interview them first. It just never occurred to me. It's the lawyer in me. So I woke up, I got on a call with all 3 of them and they all said yes. And voila, I had 4 clients. And from that point on, I just never imagined that I would not have clients.
Yeah, the first kind of medium you chose was writing and your own blog, your own personal blog to and attract these people. And it's amazing that you also were able to kind of bring forth, like transfer your previous background and profession to use that skill, of course. That was super helpful. For those people who do want to choose writing, what would you recommend about key things to think about in terms of like SEO or in terms of structuring the articles? Are there maybe things that are necessary to include, CTAs, whatever the case may be? What would you recommend for people who want to choose writing as their main way of reaching out to potential prospects?
So first, I would say that you need to want to write. You want to love writing because there's so many other ways of creating clients in your business. And if you choose writing, then you need to at least enjoy the process of it. And for me, I don't have a set process. I'm kind of nonconformist where I've never reviewed anything I've written before. I don't revise. I don't edit. I didn't do that when I was an attorney or an accountant. I don't do that now. That's maybe one of my weaknesses. But I also think that you just need to love the topic you're speaking of. It's kind of like if you're giving a speech or you're talking, write about something that you love, write about something that you can enjoy, write about something that if somebody woke you up in the middle of the night and poured cool water, you wake up screaming that topic, okay? Write about something that turns you on and lights you up. Because if you have a niche, especially, you're going to be writing about that for a really long time. You're going to be writing about the same thing in different ways for many years to come. So write about stuff that interests you. Most of all, have a story. I usually don't have a story, but my coach always says, start with a story and experience or something or a client experience. I don't. I just write. I write what comes to my head. I write the same way I talk, which is no filters, no boundaries. So write about things that you enjoy. Write about questions your clients have. So for me, when I was writing, I wrote about questions that I had before I hired my coach. When I was spiritual life coach, I wrote about things that I thought about, things that I thought my clients would be thinking about. And they were thinking about that. And that's what attracted them to me. It was kind of like, oh my God, I feel the same way. Where have you been all my life? You're in my head. I feel like you're in my head. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, I'm only like 2 steps away from you. Like, I totally understand what you're going through. So write about what you know. Don't try to copy what other people are doing or look for a guru on Instagram and see what they're saying. I don't even know what everybody else is saying. I just know what I'm saying. I know what I want to work on and who I want to work with. And I write to those people. So in my head, she's sitting there and she's a version of me 5 years ago. And I write to her. I write to her for her to remember who she wants to be and to remind myself of where I've been. So that's who I'm talking to. And it's from the heart. It's honest. And I don't fix my typos. So I think I'm real. They know I'm real. And I also, I do organize my thoughts to just have it be coherent because if not, nobody's going to want to read it. Yeah. So that's all I have. It's just enjoy it. Write what you love. There are no rules. Make your own rules. Stop trying to follow somebody else's blueprint of what it should be like. If you're a coach, there are no rules. You are the rule. You are the blueprint for your clients. You're the blueprint for your sales. You're the blueprint. You are the strategy for your business. So just be aligned with soul, come from there, and that's all you need.
Mhm. And it takes a lot of confidence and courage to be your own person, to create your own blueprint, have your own rules. Of course, that's part of the challenge, I guess. I've spoken to you before, and we spoke about setting up your high ticket offering and the challenges you face in terms of imposter syndrome and in terms of having the confidence to commit and say, yes, this is my value and this is how much people have to pay me if they want to spend time with me. What are your things you think about, and what are the ways that you build confidence in yourself? Fake it till you make it. Anything else?
Well, I didn't fake it till I make it. You don't fake it till you make it. You face it. You know, for me, my faith is the most important thing. And I cannot talk about high ticket coaching without saying I had to remember who I was. Because I had forgotten my identity during my transition. And first of all, I had a coach. Okay. I've always had coaches. So that's a big thing. So every time I forget to believe in myself, they're there to raise me back up two centimeters up and be like, Mimi, no, girl, we got you. You're here. You got this. So first I had to remember who I was. I had to know that the God in me was not going to miss. So I have to do this. But that doesn't mean it was easy. I had so many questions. I was so insecure. I was like, am I bold enough to really do this? Am I bold enough to say the investment to work with me is at the time $25,000? Am I expert enough? Because I don't have to be an expert, but I have to be an expert in the thing that I know how to do. Okay. Because I don't know what my clients do. I don't care about what they do, but I do know that I'm not an expert in their lives or their businesses, that I don't need to be. So that was important. I asked questions like, what are people going to say? I haven't been a coach for 25 years. What do I do? Who is going to want to hire me? Who's going to pay this little African girl, okay, to support her at that high level? Can I hold space at that high level? Can I hold space enough for myself to show up and hold space for my client? It was so many things. Do I know what strategy I want? Do I need a strategy? Oh my gosh, do I need a blueprint? Do I need to go work with a $1 million coach first? And do I need to go work with Tony Robbins first? Like, who do I need to be to show up in this space? Because there are not a lot of people like me in this space. Okay. It's full of people who everybody else is looking up to. I'm not on social media. So how am I even going to do this? Who am I going to talk to? How am I going to sell my blog? Like, who does that? But I also realized that I don't follow the rules. I don't care about the rules. I could give a damn about the rules. I really could. If there were no rules, I'd probably be the happiest person in the world. But I do follow some of them. But I did know that because of who I am and my background, my past, my history, and my life, I'm not a kind of in the box girl. I never have been. So I've had so many different careers. I've had experiences outside in life that have taught me to just go for the thing I want and that it's okay to fail. Because the big thing I've always noticed that I can't fail because God can't miss. He's too big to miss. I'm okay. Whatever happens, it's just a learning journey. But I was scared. I was so scared to say the offer, the investment to work with me is $25,000 because I felt like nobody was going to listen to me. I was going to be judged. I was going to be criticized. They were going to say, you need to be visible. You need to be on Instagram. You need to be on Facebook. You need to be doing this. You need to be doing that. So many shoulds. And I hate shoulds. So I just focused on who I am and the impact I'm here to make in the world, my identity. And I stepped from that place of faith. And I've always stayed on that path because if not, I can't do what I do. It wouldn't be possible to do what I do if I looked outside of myself.
Yeah, amazing. So a lot of faith and also understanding that, yes, people will say or may say, or even you might think yourself, a self-limiting belief might be that, oh, I need to be like Tony Robbins and I need to have millions of followers on Facebook and Instagram. But no, it's not necessary. Find your niche, know of the value that you provide, the impact that you can have. And from there you can build. Awesome.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like Tony Robbins. It was just kind of like, I felt like I needed to be like my coach's coach. I felt like I needed to be out there and more prolific and more eloquent and more this. And it was funny because I thought the first thing I said to my coach when I said I want to create a $25,000 offer, I said, I don't know how I'm going to sell this because I don't wear makeup. And she said, well, consider that you might be the coach who's the high ticket coach that doesn't wear makeup and just make that your thing. And I was like, okay, is that a thing? Because, I want to be on YouTube and YouTube channels, there are channels that talk about how to wear the makeup. So how am I going to compete? And I realized, oh crap, you don't compete. Mm-mm. the whole thing is I've never tried to be one of many. I've always just tried to be myself. And the 2, 3, or 4, or 5 people that are attracted to this MiMi will come to this MiMi. I don't care about the 95% people who don't want to come to MiMi. There's so many other coaches out there they can work with. So my whole thing is now I only want to work with 5 women, period. So there are 5 women in the world who are like, that chick is crazy. I'm with her. So
I love it. Awesome. So yeah, we spoke about your high ticket offer starting with 25K. What are the elements of a high ticket offer when somebody is trying to create one?
gosh. So the elements of a high ticket offer, there's no blueprints. You are. First, you look at the game, where you're coming from, your identity. Remember who you are, because that's what creates the value aspect of this. It allows you to think bigger than 10K or 25K or 50K. So I call a high ticket coaching offer a magical playground. It's your own sandbox. There are no rules. How big do you want to play? Okay, that's the first question. What game do you want to play? Because it's all a game and it's about having the time of your life. So what would create the time of your life in your business where you have a business that you can wrap completely around your lifestyle and not have to sacrifice your family, your faith, your joy, or any quality of life? So that's the first thing we consider, not some step one thing. So in this playground, what do you want to create? All right. And who do you want to create it for? What does that person want? It's not a 5-step program. What does that person want? And then the key here in your magical playground is to be able to see beyond what that person wants. You're being paid high ticket prices. The investment is high ticket because of your ability to see beyond the vision of your client. So you're being paid for expansion and your expertise, okay? So you should be able to see beyond what your client comes to you for. A high ticket coach does not give their client what they want. They give their client what their client never, ever imagined. Because your client is coming to you because they see something in that offer that shows them, reflects to their soul, who they want to be, what they desire to be, the experience they're seeking, the thing they seek to experience. They see that in the offer, and that's why they come to you. They don't come to you because you're fixing a pain or because it's urgent. They come to you because it's so amazing. It's so beautiful. They cannot not say yes to the experience with you. So they're paying for the experience, for living and experiencing that offer. That's why they come to you. So it has to be something that goes beyond, okay, if you want to lose 25 pounds in 90 days, it goes way beyond that. What happens when they lose the 25 pounds? Who are they choosing to be? So high ticket offer looks beyond creation. It focuses really on when the client gets what they want, can they receive it? Can they enjoy it? And can they call more of it in consistently? Because our coaching industry is really focused on creation, creating more clients, creating money, creating impact, creating this. But nobody notices that we can't get past creation. It is challenging for us, especially women coaches, especially spiritual coaches, to receive the thing we've created. That's why people who lose weight still wear the big clothes. It's hard to receive it. So a high ticket coaching offer puts that into consideration and focuses on the receiving, the enjoying, and the calling more of into the client's life. And once you have that, then you figure out what system am I going to use to align with my energy and my client's energy to co-create what they want. Because again, there's an element of exclusivity. Your high ticket coaching offer is not a template for everyone. It focuses on the client's needs, experiences, life, their energy, and what they are choosing to create in their life at this time and beyond. Okay. It's also a long-term container. It's not 90 days. It can be, but in my experience, I think 12, 18 months, 5 years is the perfect time container for high ticket coaching offer. So that your client gets to experience the creation, the receiving, the enjoying, the calling more of, rinse and repeat, and the exponential ROI that comes with that.
Super interesting. It's a much longer process, understanding the full cycle of the generation of the goal, the creating the impact, and then also accepting it, appreciating it, and enjoying it.
It could be a 1 hour conversation. Your high ticket coaching offer could be a 1 hour conversation. But I invite you to consider that beyond that 1 hour, your client It's not programmed to learn how to receive, enjoy, and consistently call back within in, because that's not how the world works. We work on accumulation and creating and creating, creating. And it's a microwave world. What now, 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 now. And high tech coaching offers on an Amazon delivery service. It's not a 2-day thing. It's not prime. It's a long-term, transformational, exponential experience that is going to create an investment return for your client for the next 20, 30, or 40 years. Your client is not paying you for that 1 year. Your client is paying you for the millions of dollars ROIs that are going to come for him or her in the next 10, 15 years.
Amazing. And would you say that coaching with a high ticket offer is for everyone? What are the reasons why someone should go for a high ticket offer, or should they not go for a high ticket offer in certain situations? When would you recommend it?
I believe that everyone deserves to have a high ticket coaching offer in their portfolio, but you don't have to have one. It's not a must. You know, if you're a coach that believes, I want to work with 1 million people, and you want to have a low ticket offer that can create massive impact, like a low course for maybe $1,000 or $5,000 that can create impact in the world, then do that if that's what you love. Don't create a high ticket coaching offer because it's like the new thing on Instagram or Facebook. No, do what you love. I don't love low ticket. I don't want to work with more than 10 people. My energy is aligned for specifically this person at this time now for this amount. So that's what I go for. But I would never have done high ticket if I prefer to work with a bigger group of people or just have like 1,000 people in my course or things like that. I wouldn't be a high ticket coach. I'm only high ticket because the way I am as a human is, look, I can do with you, you now. And I can give you all I have. I'm going to pour everything into you, but I need such a long recovery time to take care of myself that I cannot see past 5 people or 10 people. So high ticket is for you if you want to create massive impact at an exponential level, because it's a deep, deep transformation. You are taking your client where she or he didn't even know it was possible to go. And for that to happen, you have to have gone through that yourself, not just not the experience, because you don't have to have lost 100 pounds to have somebody lose 100 pounds, but you have to have had that transformation at different level, different plateau. It's not just fixing or creating impact. It's actually serving at such a high level that it takes a lot out of you to deliver. So if you're not that person that says, I don't want to go that deep, then high ticket's not for you. It's not about the money. There are a million ways to go make money. I can go be an attorney right now and make money. I don't need to do high ticket coaching. But I do it because this level of transformation and impact and exponential results only happens at the high ticket level.
Amazing. So it's all about your preference, essentially. Do you
Yeah.
like having deep, narrow relationships with people where you can essentially really bring them into the revolution of their lives and really, really go deep with them? Or would you rather have an impact on a larger population, maybe hundreds or thousands of people? The
I'm
ideal
all,
offers.
I'm all into violating boundaries and being intimate with you. Like I crawl up into your space. I'm all up in you. So I need to have that time and that expansive playground to play with you. I don't want to do the surface thing and say, okay, you got what you want, bam, bam, good, go. No, we are going so deep. It's so scary, so fun. And it's like the best thing you've ever had. I think that's the level that I want to keep playing at. And when I came into coaching, that was the only level that I knew I wanted for myself. So I figured I cannot not create this if that's the desire I have. That's the experience I want to have. That's what for me lights me up and makes me have the time of my life. So you do the offer that is the time of your life offer. If you're not having the time of your life with your offer, change it, shift it, expand it, compress it, whatever it is for you. But don't do what you should do because it's what's working for somebody else.
Mhm. I love it. So it's about playing outside of the boundaries. That's where the exciting creative places and spaces are for discovering.
Yes, there are no boundaries and the sky is not the limit. There are no limits. You are the limit. You are the blueprints. You are the experience. You are the playground of the sandbox. You are the magic. Everything in here is what you need to pull out and give freely, fully to your clients and not stick to some blueprint or some 5-step process. That's boring. That's traditional. That's what the market does. Don't be the market. Be the person that does you, because doing you attracts people to you who never believed they could do them. So there are enough people who do the market. There are enough people who follow the rules. There are enough people who conform. You don't have to be It's killing you slowly. It's like a little part of you dies every time you do something in your business that you don't want to do. It's like being in a relationship where you do something that you don't want to do, a little part of you dies and resentment creeps in. That's what that's like when you're in your business and you're doing somebody else's role.
Mhm. Mhm. There'll be some coaches listening to this right now, and I think they'll have something within them, some nucleus, which is like, yes, I'd love to do this. And I feel like I can provide value. And I love going deep with people. I love seeing whole scale, massive transformations in people and helping people achieve their potential. What would you recommend to those people in terms of overcoming either the self-limiting beliefs or the things that are inhibiting them from the steps really kind of necessary for them to, first of all, have the confidence and then actually create their high-tech offer? What are the important things that needs to get done? What are the must-haves? And then what the nice-to-haves?
Nice haves. One of the important things that need to get done is for you to first know yourself, know what you want. We're trained from birth to be nice, to play the nice girl, nice boy, whatever it is, and share everything and know what everybody else what everybody else wants, and please everyone else. Sometimes I do this with my daughter, okay, where she has a toy that she hasn't even had for 2 days, and her friend comes over, and I'm like, you have to share that toy. Don't be mean. And she hasn't even experienced it, so how can she share it? It's the same thing with coaching. If you haven't lived it, been it, experienced the thing, how can you give it away? So fill your cup, whatever it needs, that self-care. Take care of yourself, ground yourself in your life and your business, and then wrap your business around your life. Then decide, who do I want to work with? What is my niche? How do I want to position myself in my niche? Because it comes down to creation, positioning, and specialization. To be a high ticket coach, you need to be willing to specialize your offer. Specialization is where it's at. So that is important because the market pays specialists. The market loves to pay you a lot of money to specialize in something because they think, oh, it's exclusive to me. And it's true. So the important thing here is if you don't want to specialize in something, reconsider. Okay. Because that's super, super important. That's a must have. So here's the thing. If everybody likes you, you lack integrity. If everybody likes you, if you have an offer that's for like your mother, your sister, your grandmother, dog, your cat, everybody can do it. You lack integrity somewhere because you're not repelling the people that are here for you. It's unaligned and you're not going to be able to sell it or market it. So don't do the whole everybody likes it, I can help everyone. No, that's a lack of integrity on your part. Give it to someone who knows they want it, who wants to have it, who knows they need that thing. And you'll be able to market it to them and sell it to them. Who are you going to sell it to if your mom, your dog, your grandmother, your great grandmother, your auntie, and your uncle can get it? Who are you going to market it to and how are you going to do that? So be in integrity with yourself, own yourself, repel the people who are not here for you, align yourself to who needs to be with you, and niche down. The deeper you go, the wider your impact. Do it.
Fighting words. If people don't like you, no, if everybody likes you, you don't have integrity.
You lack integrity. Yes.
Amazing.
The second thing is you need to be able to say no and have boundaries around what you want in your life. It's not always about it's what the client wants, but if you don't get what you want, you can't give the client what they want. Again, and you have to have fun. And if you're someone in your business who thinks business should not be fun, it's serious, get over yourself. If business is not fun for you, give me a call, okay? The one question I always say is, what will be the thing that has you have the time of your life in your business? That's going to be the secret sauce to your high ticket coaching offer. That's a must have. That's important. The other things are, how to create your offer, what niche you're in, who you're serving, what they want to create, what are their desires. They're the basic things. Those have to happen. Your marketing strategy, your sales strategy, you have this offer. How are you going to sell it? Who are you going to sell it to? Are you going to show up on camera? Are you going to sell it, through hyper targeting? Are you going to do it on social media? Like, where are you going to do it? What's your sales strategy? You can't just create it. It has to leave your hands. Somebody has to hear about it. How can somebody hear about your offer today and want it based on what you have? And one of the things that I always say is have your own playbook. So if anybody wants to create an offer, I have a free playbook. Download it on my website. I'll give you the link. They can download the playbook for any high ticket coaching offer, whether it's a $20,000 offer, a $50,000 offer, or $100 or $1 million offer. And this is the thing about high ticket. You get to decide what's high ticket for you. It doesn't have to be a $100,000 offer because I think that's what stops people or slows them down. It's like, no, it could be a $5,000 offer today. And then once you have the $5,000 offer, you see the results you're creating, you're going to say, darn it, that's $100,000 offer that I stuck into a $5,000 box. Because I've never met a coach who's giving value that's not at least $10,000. But yet, there are many coaches who the investment to work with them is way less than $10,000. But I've never met a coach whose value is less than 10.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. And my question would be around the tooling as well. So once you have an idea and you're aware of the value that you have, you kind of have a playbook. There are various tools to get set up. Of course, Pensight is one of them. How has your experience been?
Oh, yes.
What do you recommend?
We live in a world where there's so many ways to sell. There's so many ways to market and be visible. And for me, in the past, most of the time I've spent on Zoom. Zoom has been my playground for coaching, whether it's hosting live events or whatever. And when I discovered Pensight, obviously, I thought, oh, this is cool because it gives you the opportunity to reach a group of people that you probably wouldn't have if you had stayed just with your Zoom. Because at Pensight, like for me personally, I have where people can just ask me a question about high ticket offers or niches or specializations or marketing or sales. And then you can just reply to them in a 5-minute video. All those times we'll say, can we have coffee or can I, rack your brain or whatever? That's what Pensight's for. Okay. You can do a video. They pay for that time with you. It doesn't matter if you don't, well, I want to do it for free. Give them money to charity if you're so inclined. But they invest in themselves because, when people rack your brain for free, it's not pivotal for them. It doesn't change anything for them because they haven't invested anything that is going to be at the level them transform their life or business. So Pensight allows you to create bundles. I don't think one-off thing is the best. Create a bundle for your client so that they can get to you in maybe 3 sessions or 4 sessions at minimum or package for them and answer their questions. On Zoom, when you get on, you coach, you have a live event, and then somebody comes to rack your brain on Zoom, use Pensight for that. Zoom is great for like the group coaching, the live events, and you can do for your one-on-one coaching too. But Pensight does the same thing and allows people to get to you and reach you in a way that Zoom doesn't.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And a question around the kind of going the extra mile. So you mentioned about going beyond and the deep relationships you want to have with people. What are the ways to go the extra mile? How do you stand out from the crowd in that sense when you're doing the service delivery?
It's customization. It's customizing everything to not just create the outcome for your client, but for them to again receive it, enjoy it, and call it back in. That's what that is. And the extra thing that they see is the thing that they didn't even know they wanted. And the reason why I say this is because when you have even a 90-day program, when somebody comes into your coaching program, what they wanted on day 1 is significantly different than what happens on day 30. They see for themselves something they've never seen before. They know now they can do the thing that was stopping them is no longer there. Now there are bigger things that are stopping them, obviously, but it's different from what was there before. They're no longer afraid. And they realize, oh, I can have more of this because as human beings, we're programmed to have desire and we can't push those desires away. So your offer needs to have that exponential playground, expansive place for desire that sees beyond vision. Because most coaching offers, what they do is they give the client what they want. And it's kind of like, okay, this is where you stop. You don't need more. No, as humans, we're always needing more. If not, we die because that's our expansion. And your offer needs to be expansive enough to see beyond the vision they came to you for. So when I'm working with clients in my business, I have 4 buckets. It's faith, it's self-care, it's financial, obviously, and then strategies and systems and mindset. So it's those 4 buckets. So if you come to me because you want to make $1 million, you're probably going to walk away looking and feeling good naked first before you get $1 million. You're going to create freedom before you do that. You're going to have a self-care practice in place. It's holistic. So $100,000 coaching offer, any high ticket coaching offer is holistic. So you don't look at the result your client wants. You look at how would this change and impact every area of her life so that for the first time, she gets to be in the body she wants to be in, live in the place she wants to live in, play with the people she wants to play at, and have money in the bank too to pay for the choices and experiences and opportunities that she wants to create in her life. So it's not a one-trick pony. You can't one-trick pony a high-ticket offer. It has to be expansive and affect every area. It has to touch every area of their life. So you consider, okay, she's coming to me for this. but how will her life change? How will her health change because of this? How will this change? Your offer needs to touch every part of your client's life. It has to be a holistic.
Mhm. Amazing. Holistic and super, super customized, I think is the other thing to take.
Yes,
So look,
customized. And it's not like, oh God, for each client, I have to have a new system. No, I have one system. It's called the coach system. But I customize it to each person. I'm not tied to what it's supposed to look like. I'm tied to the game my client's about to play. That's the only thing I'm tied to. Is what
mhm,
we're about to do for you. Because remember, your system is a system, but your client is one client. So when when you look at your coaching business, consider that you're looking at one client at a time, one experience at a time, one offer at a time. Focus on that one person at a time. Customize it for them. And then take that same system and customize it for the next person, but it's one at a time. There's a power in one that I think our industry has forgotten because we want more people on Facebook, we want more people in the groups, we want 1,000 this. Even if you're on social media, say thank you to that one new person who subscribed. It's one person, one client, one opportunity, one experience. And that's how you dive and go deep into the experiences with your client because you're looking at them at one at a time.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. And there's one exercise as well that I'd recommend that I got originally from Brian Chesky, the co-founder of Airbnb. So he talks about improving the hospitality experience. And yes, most people, like for an average, a 5-star hotel, which is great, you go there and it's not that personalized. You go there and obviously the lobby looks nice and it's clean and there's bellboy can take your suitcases, but it's all about understanding deeply the client. How can you make that 5-star experience into a 6-star experience? And then, if you understand your client, that they're coming probably from an airport and they're tired on their journey. And what do they want? They want help. They don't want to worry about getting to the hotel. So it's about arriving with a Maybach, inviting them to the car, taking their luggage and making sure they have a calm, smooth journey to their hotel. How do you get that 6-star experience into a 7-star experience? Again, going deeper and deeper into that client's needs and providing that extra value is how you can create that high ticket offer.
Yes. And I love it because that totally comes from one at a time. And I always say to my clients, when you wake up in the morning and you're making breakfast for your husband, do you make breakfast for every man in the building or do you just make it for your husband? And you're like, why would I make it for everybody else? So what are you thinking about everybody else? One at a time.
Mhm. I love it. Awesome. And a few key messages from yourself and your coaches that you'd like people to take away from our conversation, what would they be?
Oh my gosh. So I work with these two different coaches in one. Kat says, life is now, press play. So at the end of most of my emails, I remind people, life is now, press play. What are you waiting for? This is your huge permission slip. Go to the fit. And then I have another coach, Katie, who always says, you know what? Play full out. So life is now, press play. And if you're going to play full out.
Life is now, press play full out. And now we're going to go to the fun rapid fire round, the Penta Rapid Fire 5.
Bring it. Bring it.
I love the energy. So I've got 5 questions for you and I want you to answer the first thing that comes to your mind as quickly as possible. Question number 1. Are you ready? If anything, what would you have changed about your journey if you could start it again?
I would have changed the war, not being a war survivor. I'd have changed that.
Question number 2. What's one belief that you've changed recently?
I am. I used to think that God was separate from me. I am. That's my belief.
Number 3. Who or what are you most grateful for?
Oh my gosh. I am most grateful for my ex-husband. He is the most beautiful gift I've ever received that was wrapped in sandpaper. What a gift. What the experience of this separation and divorce. It's like getting a beautiful gift wrapped in sandpaper. That's what that's been for me. So if he wasn't there, I wouldn't have experienced it and I wouldn't be where I am today. So thank you.
It's a great analogy. Question number 4. What's one book everybody should read?
Oh my gosh, one book everybody should read. Oh my God, I read 125 books a year. Like, don't do this to me.
You're only allowed one. Only allowed one.
Okay. Well, let me just get the most recent one that my daughter gave to me. It's called Practicing Mindfulness. everyone should read this. It's 75 essential meditations that if you are a coach, it supports you to slow down and breathe and think, and it grounds you every morning before you start your day. So practicing mindfulness, which is so funny because this is, if I had time to think, I'd have chosen a different one, but this is really good.
Cool.
Feel good.
And final question, question 5. If you could have a billboard to put on one message just for the most number of people to see it, what would that message on that billboard be?
Remember who you are, your identity.
Reminds me of my king, Simba, remember who you are. And then from with Mufasa in the sky, I love that scene.
Boom.
Thank you so much, Mimi. It's been an absolute pleasure to dive into everything we've done today. People can, of course, find you on Pensite, pensite.com/x/Mimi Dabo. We'll drop the link in the show notes. Anywhere else people can find your, how do you recommend?
Oh, yes. People can find me at spiritualwomencoaches.com, and they can download the 100th Little Playbook and go create their own high-ticket offer, but spiritualwomencoaches.com and Pensite, of course. If you have a question for me, hit Pensite. If you want to apply to work with me, spiritualwomencoaches.com. If you want to read my blog post, spiritualwomencoaches.com. So good.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely chatting. Have a lovely day. And
So grateful. It's been so being here with you today. Grateful, and keep doing what you do.
Thanks, Mimi. Tune in next time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be releasing new ones every Wednesday. Make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast platform to give other people the chance to discover us too.